This is Arkady Ostrovsky, Russia editor with The Economist and author of the book Invention of Russia, The Rise of Putin and the Age of Fake News. Thank you very much for coming in.
Great to be here.
Like many people, I'm sure you were watching very, very closely with that first sign of them getting together, the handshake, the body language. What was your assessment?
Well, it was very, very interesting, wasn't it? So Putin, both Putin and Trump sort of sitting back, both sort of alpha males, you know, feet wide apart, you know, in position. Trump looking straight into the camera as he talks about Putin. And Putin, very interestingly, doesn't even look at Trump, doesn't look in the camera, doesn't look at Trump. It's sort of a body language which suggests, okay, well, let's hear what you've got for me. We've helped you. We're actually being good to you. So let's see what you can deliver. And then I think Trump, as John said, you know, coming out of that meeting with a spring in his step. I mean, Putin is a very experienced ex-KGB man who specialized in recruiting. He would have played to his vanity.
To his own vanity? To
Trump's vanity. And, you know, Putin is very used to dealing with oligarchs. Trump is an oligarch. To him, they would be sizing each other up. But ultimately, I think what they would have discussed, we need to look back at the Trump speech yesterday in Warsaw, where Trump said, look, there is a Western civilization, we'll defend civilization, it's about family values, about the church. Actually, he's almost verbatim sort of quoting what Putin was saying about there is Russian civilization, Russian church, Russian culture, Russian language. And Putin would have agreed with that, with Trump's assessment of Western civilization. But saying it in Trump, saying, okay, here's the line. You have your civilization, and you can be in charge of that, and we have ours. There is a Russian or Slavic civilization, and Ukraine is part of that. And Ukraine clearly was absolutely the key subject for Putin to discuss with Trump. And I just watched, before I came on your program, I just watched Russian news, the immediate reaction coming from the Kremlin, effectively. It was all about Ukraine, and basically the message is Kremlin thinks that they're getting from Trump what they wanted.
Which is?
Which is recognition that Ukraine is part of Russia's sphere of influence. At least that's how it's sort of coming across. This is how Putin would have presented. Look, Putin would have said, we are on the defense. You, Obama's administration, America, meddled in Ukraine, meddled in Russian political process. What we did was purely defensive, both in Crimea and in Ukraine. Let us get on with each other. If we want to get on well, you have to get out of our sphere of influence. Don't step on our toes. And in particular, he would have said, let's implement this Minsk II agreement, which is the peace, sort of the ceasefire agreement, which was signed on Russia's terms after Russia effectively defeated the Ukrainian army. So Putin would be pushing Trump now to help Russia get what it wants in Ukraine.
But how it spun in Washington could be very different, surely, because we had Donald Trump saying yesterday in that speech in Poland, look, there's a community of responsible nations, join us.
Yes, but he is saying it so the location is it's a very symbolic speech. It would have been it was written by one of Steve Bannon's people. It's about Western civilization, saying, you know, Warsaw is on the western side of the lines now, but that's where the line goes. And what's implied effectively then in that speech is that anything east of that line is not part of the West. And this is something that Putin would have hugely welcomed, saying, no, we don't have any claim on Poland, we don't have any claim on the former Soviet bloc, the Warsaw Pact, but Ukraine is a separate issue. And Trump, very interestingly, didn't use the words like Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Russia's annexation of Crimea. He said Russia should stop destabilizing Ukraine. Well, hang on a second. Russia annexed Crimea and Russia started a war in Ukraine. And Trump's language, if I was now in Kiev, I would not be hugely encouraged by that.
How much more candid might they have been when the cameras were switched off? I
think they would have been very candid. I think Putin would have been very straight with Trump. As I said, he's very good at telling people what they want to hear. He would have been briefed extremely well, not just about Trump's what Trump had said and what his advisors would have said, but he would have studied the sort of psychological profile of Trump. And somebody with that amount of vanity, so much in love with himself, he would have played him very, very, very well. And he would not have done what he's done with Obama. When Putin first met Obama, he spent 45 minutes lecturing Obama about what America did wrong. Putin and Trump agree on sort of democracy or interests rather than values. Putin would have taken courage from the fact that Trump never talks about human rights, human interventionism, spreading democracy. So Putin would have been saying to Trump, look, we actually agree on a lot of things. Let's not collide in this space which is important to us. The West is important to you, this is important to us. This is our space.
Arkady Ostrovsky from The Economist, Russia editor of The Economist. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.